Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing the key to rebuilding a terrifying Steelers defense has been hiding right inside the Steelers building the whole time. Imagine watching a coach walk out of Pittsburgh, take an idea nobody respected, and turn it into one of the most feared defenses in football. Now imagine that same coach possibly walking back through the door, this time as the leader of the entire franchise. Before we go any further, if you love Steelers football and want more daily breakdowns, pound that like button and subscribe right now to help push this community to the top. All right, let's talk about why the Steelers may already have their next defensive revolution sitting right under their nose. Brian Flores. The search for Pittsburgh's next head coach is officially underway. Interviews are happening, names are flying everywhere, and every time the phone rings, it could mean the start of a new era. But in this wild hunt, one candidate stands out, not because of what he might do in the future, but because of what he discovered when he was already here. Backtrack to 2022. Flores walked into Pittsburgh at one of the most chaotic moments in his career, fresh off a firing in Miami, fresh off a public battle with the NFL, and fresh off a lawsuit that sent shockwaves through the league. Mike Tomlin brought him in. Art Rooney too approved it. And just like that, the Steelers added a linebacker coach who wasn't supposed to stay long, but ended up learning something that changed everything. Flores walks into the shared Steelers Pitt Panthers facility. He starts talking ball, meeting people, and then something unexpected happens. He hits it off with Pitt linebackers coach Tiquin Underwood, and suddenly Flores is exposed to a defensive system almost no NFL coach ever took seriously. Pat Narduzzi's chaotic, unpredictable, college-style pressure scheme. And we're talking real football innovation here, not buzzwords, not gimmicks, real chess. NFL minds brushed it off for years. That's college stuff. That won't work on Sundays. But Flores didn't laugh. He studied it. He mapped it out. And he asked the most dangerous question in the sport. What if I bring this to the NFL and make it work? Let me ask you this. Have the Steelers ever had success zigging while everyone else zagged? Does the entire legacy of Blitzburg not come from doing things differently than the rest of the league? Because what Flores found was not just pressure. Every team pressures. What Narduzzi perfected was a different way to think about pressure, zone match principles paired with five-man attacks. Most NFL zone pressures rely on the classic fire zone. 3 deep, 3 underneath defenders, something Steelers fans have watched since the Dick LeBeau days. Effective, historic, but predictable. Narduzzi's version? Throw that rulebook out the window. Instead of 3 deep, you get 2 or 4 deep looks. Instead of static defenders, you get triangles. 2 clusters of defenders reading patterns, passing routes, and triggering coverage based on where receivers break. It's mental warfare disguised as defensive structure. 2-by-2 formation. Boom. 3 defenders on one side read routes, 3 defenders on the other read routes, and 1 linebacker is screaming downhill at the quarterback. It's like combining Bill Belichick's pattern matching with the aggression of a blitz-happy DC dialed to maximum volume. You are giving up a soft void in the middle. No system is perfect, but guess what? Most running backs have to pick up the pressure anyway. And if they release, you dare the QB to find them under pressure in under 2 seconds before someone hits him in the mouth. And here's the genius part. Those triangles can play different rules at the same time. One side can be quarters, the other palms. The quarterback doesn't just have to read coverage. He has to guess which philosophy is hidden in the disguise. One wrong read. Pick 6. Let me hit you with the first big fan question of the night. If Brian Flores brought that system to Pittsburgh full-time, how many turnovers do you think this defense could force in a season? Drop your wildest number in the comments. But we're just getting warmed up. Because once Flores left Pittsburgh and became Minnesota's DC, he mixed Narduzzi's DNA with his own version of chaos from New England and Miami. Cover 0, simulated pressure, body-in body-out misdirection, pre-snap disguise, post-snap rotation, and more fronts than some teams install in a decade. Flores lines up 7 or 8 players at the line of scrimmage, shoulder to shoulder, threatening overloads from anywhere. And the offense has no idea who's blitzing, who's dropping, or whether the pocket will collapse in 1.8 seconds. Send everyone. Somebody touches the QB free. Drop out. Suddenly it's Tampa 2, quarters, or man match. And because every DB plays leverage and alignment instead of traditional depth, quick throws don't exist. Quarterbacks feel ghosts. They don't see daylight. They panic. This is not just a defense, it's a psychological attack. One single play versus Cincinnati this season tells the whole Flores story. Before the snap, looks like cover 0 step 2. Morphs into cover 1 right before the hike. Rotates into Tampa 2 after the snap. Becomes two-man coverage for looks. 3 rotations before the ball is snapped, and a final shift after the ball is in the quarterback's hand. Tell me, how do you plan a passing script against that? If you're an NFL QB, do you check to a run? Slide protection? Throw hot? You can't. You don't have time. And the numbers prove it. Vikings went from 28th in points allowed to 14th in year 1 under Flores over the last 3 seasons. Minnesota ranks 2nd in EPA per play allowed, 5th in overall success rate, top 5 defense despite injuries, and lower overall roster talent than Pittsburgh. Maybe this is the real question. If Flores turned that roster into a top 5 unit, what happens when he gets Minkah Fitzpatrick, Cameron Hayward, TJ Watt, Joey Porter Jr., and possibly more draft firepower? That brings us to culture, because we all know what the public says. He burned bridges in Miami. Tua hated him. He can't handle quarterbacks. Valid concerns, but context matters. Flores spent 15 years under Bill Belichick, one of the coldest coaches in NFL history. When you're raised in that environment, you assume that's how you lead. Flores brought New England's edge to Miami, and it backfired. But the last 4 years? He's been with Mike Tomlin and Kevin O'Connell, 2 of the most player-driven, relational communicators in the league. Flores has said himself he learned, evolved, and changed how he treats people. And every Vikings player who's spoken on him recently says the same thing. Tough, yes, but respectful and collaborative. So here's your question of the day, the one I want everyone commenting on. Would you hire Brian Flores even knowing the baggage from Miami? Yes or a no? Explain your take below. Before we close this monster topic, let's hit offense. Often, defensive head coaches burn out because they can't build a staff. Flores? He has options. Minnesota branches: Wes Phillips, Chris O'Hara, Josh McCown, Grant Udinski. Each with familiarity in motion-heavy, quarterback-friendly systems. New England tree: Brian Daboll. If situations align more assistance with spread or power systems, he can choose whether to run McVay concepts, Saban option trees, or blend spread principles from Daboll. That means flexibility. Kenny Pickett, a rookie, a veteran, doesn't matter. There's a plan. Let's end on a point fans sometimes forget. Pittsburgh's defense has more pure talent than Minnesota, period. Yet Minnesota has been the unit crushing people. So imagine, Narduzzi match pressures Flores, cover 0 pre-snap, deception post-snap, chaos, Joey Porter Jr. shadowing WR1 in MEG coverage, 5-man firestorms, Minkah roaming free, TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith screaming off the edge. That's not just defense. That's Blitzburg reborn. So drop me one last answer. If Flores becomes head coach, is Steelers football back? Because I think if this happens, the rest of the NFL is about to have nightmares again. Here we go.